Howdy, welcome to another Nonsense Wars production. Today, a topic that's been well covered, but not by us, repair and maintenance of 9-volt train motors. What we have here is a simple oval of track with a speed regulator attached. I'm going to show you a good motor, and then we'll show you the bad motor for comparison. The motor immediately stops, even though the regulator is at full power. Now we're going to run the dead motor with the power meter so you can see that even when it's dead, it's drawing some current. So it stopped, but there's still some current being drawn. What causes this behavior? Well, inside this motor, and basically all LEGO motors, is a device called a thermistor, which is a sacrificial part that directs extra current through itself instead of the motor when the motor is under stress. As these get old, the thermistor triggers early and will protect the motor against normal usage, rendering it kind of useless. To get this motor apart, you have to undo the tabs at the bottom that hold the top case to the bottom case. This motor is upside down, so the bottom is on top right now. Given the shape of the tabs with like a taper here, you might expect that it looks like this. So blue is the lid, there's a hole in it like that, and the tab pops up and goes this way. And that's what we assumed at first, and we tried to cut the tab off like that to open the case. But this is wrong. It actually looks like this, and the tab goes this way. So to get the case off, you either have to guillotine it like this and destroy the tab entirely, but there's another way, which is to take a screwdriver and jam it into the gap here and lever the sides away from the tab. This is the very first motor we opened, and it was very destructive because we didn't understand which way the tabs worked. You can see here the tops of what's left of the tabs. Those belong to the top half of the case, and this little lip right there, which belongs to the bottom half. And so if the tabs were there, what you'd want to do is put the screwdriver in like this, between this wall and the tab, jam it in like there, and then push away or push the wall outwards, and then you would be able to open it. Now, we don't know if we've permanently deformed this and it won't stay together anymore. We'll find out when we go to reassemble the case. So inside, we have two of these axle units, and these are metal axle, gear pressed on, plastic pressed on the ends, and these metal wheels are just loose like that. You can sort of see it and hear it rattling. You can also see how the pickup mechanism works. This piece of metal here connects to both the terminals on top and the terminals of the motor, and has these little fingers that come out, and they're springy like this. And the wheel, just see like that, touches on them there, and there's just a little bit of outward springing force to get good contact. The axles are, these little axles are clipped in at one end and just rest on the other. The axle doesn't actually turn. I guess it could, but it doesn't actually turn. The pinion, or this gear here, spins on it. When removing these, if you use metal pliers or tweezers, do not squeeze too hard to avoid deforming the axle. So just gently grab it and pull up. It's not actually held in there with anything other than the clipping, and the vertical pin here presses on the axle so it can't move. Next we get to the motor. Just grab it from the shaft and lift up. And that is some sort of noise suppressing capacitor. part we came for is barely visible right there, and I'm gonna get some tweezers. This thing has a tab, and there's a small object here, so we're gonna grab that and extract it. And this is the source of most non-functioning train motors. So how does this work? Normally the thermistor has approximately 0 ohms of resistance, which means that this has no voltage drop, so we're about 0 volts here. And of course this end is 9 volts. And so you get 9 volts across the motor and you get all of your power. As the temperature goes up, this goes to something, much greater than 0. I don't know exactly how much, but we could probably figure it out from the amps. Since this is much greater than 0, it gets most of the voltage drop, so this is probably 9. So 9 to 9, you get 0 volts across the motor, so nothing happens. I have the thermistor on a piece of brass, so I don't have to try to jam these two exactly against each other. Instead, I can just press down. It's about 13 to 14 ohms right now. Let's heat it up and see what happens.
Yo!
As we let it cool down, the resistance will slowly drop, which is why you get intermittent symptoms where the motor stops working, you leave it alone for a bit, it runs again until the thermistor trips one more time. Now, what should you do about this? Practically speaking, the point of this is to protect the motor, and it's pretty with other motors, you can stall them and they'll draw a lot of current. But that's pretty difficult to do with the train motor because they'll just slip on the tracks. So we'll throw that away, and we're just going to plug this back in and have that make direct contact, and we'll have an unprotected motor. But if you keep a close eye on the trains and you just let them slip when they get stuck, it should be fine. All right, now that we've gotten rid of the primary villain, we should also deal with other sources of bad performance in these train motors. And basically that's anything that adds resistance. So common causes of that are grease getting places that it doesn't need to go, and these terminals and other places just being dirty. Those all have the same cure, which is to take things out and clean it up good, and then put grease only where you want it. So let's get onto that by removing the terminals first. These just sort of sit in there, but you gotta be really gentle not to bend anything when you go get it. I'll just grab one tail and just very gently lift that. That's one. And gently lift this one. That's two. So we've cleaned up the case and wiped off any excess grease and cleaned the metal contact points with Q-tips with rubbing alcohol on them. Now we'll do the reassembly. We'll put the metal pieces in and add grease where we need it. And just down, and that's as far as it goes because it's made contact there and there. Now you'll want to grease this. We're going to use white lithium grease this time, but anything thick will work. You don't want something thin because it will get all over the place, including into the contacts. So that's actually plenty because, oops, we only want some in between the gear and the axle. And you gotta, this will only fit inside the case in one orientation, by the way, so there. You can tell which way it goes because there's a little slot where the gear fits, so that, and no force at all, just drop it in there. Next is the motor. Put a little bit of grease here and here. Plugged it in and it doesn't work, and that's because there's a little gap there where the thermistor used to be. I take the screwdriver and touch it, you can see that it runs. So, easy fix. And this terminal needs to come up. If I just pry it here, it'll actually pop off the motor, so just take that and hold it and gently bend it up. There. And next is the wheel sets. So before we drop them in, we want to grease those areas, which is the bearing surface. Just put a little extra there, and that just drops in there like that. And turn it a little to get grease on all sides of the axle. Just a dab there. Just a dab there, and that's plenty. And this is rotationally symmetric, so it doesn't matter how it goes on. Just carefully take it here. Oh, I think we did.
Oh, that clipped well.
We did a good job on this by not bending the tabs too much. So once you have the bottom pressed on and you heard those clicks, take a look around and make sure there's no gaps on any side. Press gently. These should all spring back nicely. And the other place you need to clean up, which could be the source of some resistance, is the metal wheel itself. This part of the wheel rides on the 9-volt track to pick up power, and so you'll want to polish this. To polish this evenly, we will plug it in and run the motor while rubbing it. And to avoid damaging the tires, we're going to take them off. The simplest is just to rub this with a damp paper towel that's been dampened slightly with rubbing alcohol. And in order of increasing abrasiveness are these pads. These are just abrasive pads from the hardware store. You can also see them on dish sponges usually. They'll be a abrasive side. Now, it's important to note that these two are different. This is a non-scarring pad, so it's actually just sort of plastic wool. This is the same plastic wool, but it's coated with aluminum oxide, so this will scratch almost anything and will actually take some material off. So don't press too hard. Okay, put a little rubbing alcohol on, plug the motor in, and so don't push too hard on this or you'll rub the wheel against the case.
I don't know.
I think that's corrosion, and this isn't going to do anything. So we're going to switch to this pad and just touch very lightly. Don't press in. Move it in and out a bit so you don't cut any grooves. You can compare that to that. It's a fair bit shinier now.
Really good.
So let's do that again. Just over here this time. We've disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled the motor with a thermistor, so now let's see how it performs at low speed. And at higher speed. As you can see, it didn't stop running suddenly.